Okay, so this video is going to be an overview on the mix for Down Below. I'm not going to go into crazy detail on this, but I'm going to point out some things that do stick out. So I'm going to jump right into it, starting from the beginning. All right, one of the cool things I'm going to point out in the beginning of this, there's nothing crazy going on. It's pretty standard guitar, bass, drums, vocals. One of the things I did in this song that I thought was pretty cool is I combined the old drum samples I used to use a couple years back, maybe only a year back. Seems like a while ago, but lately, if you've all been following me, you know I get a real drummer to record my drums. So I combined the recorded drum track, snare track, with the old snare samples I used to use. So snare sounds pretty darn good. This is the old snare sound. The samples I used to use. A little bit of editing going on. EQing. This is what the real recorded snare sounds like. And then when you combine those two sounds together along with the drum room, it just sounds solid. So there's that. That snare I'm very happy with. Guitar tones are a little bit different than what I would typically do. So if I could find them in this messy project. Guitars sound like this. And we got two different tones going on. We got this one. It's kind of a standard, more modern sounding metal tone, and we got this one. That's kind of just the sound that I like. And when you combine them together, you get this really full, clean sound. I know it's like a distorted guitar, but it just has a clean sound to it. It's not super muddy. And I really like it. So that is it for this beginning. Let's move on.
Oh, we are the ones who live down here. We slipped off the ride and we never came back. We are the ones who dwell down here. Forever dejected, forever despair.
All right, so talk about the room ambience or the atmosphere. I'm trying to explain this. I guess, yeah, the ambience that I created for the chorus. We're just going to solo that out, and all you're going to hear is the ambience. Now, not everything got sent to this ambience. If I did that, the mix would not be as clean sounding, and this is how I mix. I mean, sometimes people use very little, if not any, reverb on their mixes, and then it sounds very dry. That's not what I go for. In this song in particular, I kind of created 3 places, and they all have their own ambience to it. So you just heard the chorus. We can go back to verse 1, the intro, and it has its own ambience to it. Now, A lot is not going into that ambience, but it is there. It does have its own ambience. And I'm going to skip over to right after the chorus. And then you can hear it has its own unique ambience, which I really liked that a lot. Oh boy, there's a good amount of effects going on, as you can see. So one of the cool effects I added to it was this thing called Doppler Dome. This thing was free, and as you can see how this little green dot is moving, the microphone is there. That green dot kind of represents the space. I don't think I'm explaining it the greatest. But when you have this going back and forth like that, depending on how you dial these in, you could get a bunch of different results. I'm trying to think of an easy way to explain it, but like you've got this pitch scale. Here, let's play some of the audio. So by adjusting this is going to adjust how drastic the pitch changes based off where that dot is going. You get some pretty interesting results, and then you could blend between the two. I mean, between the unaffected signal and the signal that is getting this effect, the dry and the wet. And that gives you different results as well. So we're going to put that back. That's just one of the examples of how, or one of the effects that I put on this ambience in order to get that weird, interesting ambient sound. So, anything else at the chorus? Let me see. Anything else noteworthy? I guess this fairground organ, this is kind of what helps portray the feel I was going for. And if we solo it, sounds like a fairground organ. And that's not super prominent in the mix, but it helps create that mood and atmosphere that I was going for, that kind of carnivalesque roller coaster type feel. As the EP gets released, you know, song by song, you'll kind of start to understand what all of this means, why I went in this direction. Again, it's not super prominent in the mix, but if we mute it, pretty different change. Not the same exact feel I want. I guess I could solo the guitars, because there's some pretty cool stuff going on with the guitars here. Kind of a standard rhythm guitar section I would write, but sounds good, works with the song. Let's move on to right after the chorus. Let's stop here. I'd like to say apologies for the stuttering in the audio. I don't have everything rendered out, so my computer is processing everything in real time. I am also using my computer sound card in order to record this. So that's not making it any easier. So, okay, we are in this weird section. We went over the atmosphere for it already, so I'm going to show you some of the instruments. We got these two guys. I'm not even going to pronounce them, but they're pretty cool. I think they're both African instruments. I originally had the intention of having a woodblock. This sounds like a woodblock. I'm pretty sure it's a variation of a woodblock. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool instrument. I think it sounds better than the woodblock I was looking for, because I actually wanted to physically play this, but that instrument has a ton of pre-recorded audio files of someone playing that instrument. So I just programmed it, and I got some pretty good results. I mean, most people can't tell the difference between somebody actually performing an instrument and then using a sampled library. Not gonna get into that right now. We're mostly just talking about the mix. Another cool instrument that's going on is this synth bass. It's kind of just adding some texture and filling up this section a bit. What else? We got a harpsichord. A lot of instruments. Violins being plucked. Always trying to add some cool, unique sounds to my music. You know, I can't, with a good conscience, just like have a bunch of guitars, drums, vocals, and call it a day. That's not the kind of music I like to make. Don't think there's anything wrong with it when people do that, but it's just not what I'm going for. All right, let's move on to the next section. Verse 2. Not much to really talk about in verse 2. It's just verse 1 with a different spin on it. Now is a good time, I guess, to tell you all. I really liked how the vocals came out. I'm going to solo those up for you. I'm really happy with really happy with the performance I had. If I could find them. There we go.
We are the ones who lived down here. We slipped off the ride and we never came back. We are the ones who dwell down here. Forever dejected, forever despaired.
Pretty darn good. That's 6 of me at the end. Let me break down these tracks. Lead vocals 2 for the lead. Got the low harmony 2. Then those high harmonies, we got 2 tracks as well. Moving on. I guess the The only real thing to really say about this ending, if I could find it. Aha, there it is. So I was pretty dead set on having this ending melody. I'm not going to tell you what the ending melody is necessarily supposed to be. I'll leave that up to your imagination. But I wanted it to sound like you were going up this roller coaster and this melody is passing you. So I used this plugin by Waves. It's a Doppler. It is a Doppler effect, and what that does is going to simulate how objects react moving and how the pitch and volume changes. You know, kind of like how when you hear a car passing by quickly, it's got that pitch shift, and it's also got that volume shift. Not explaining it very well, but hopefully you get the idea. So with this, I did, to the best of my ability, because I'm only working with 2 speakers. I didn't want to create this in I didn't want to create this in surround sound. Nobody listens to music in surround sound. So, to the best of my ability, I made this melody seem like it was kind of passing by on the left side. And this plugin kind of gives you a visual representation as to where this melody is, or how this melody is traveling. Okay. I think that's really it. That's all that I really want to cover. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, leave it a like, leave a comment, and I will see you on the next video.